this, then it looks like this. Really, this is the toolkit that you need to bring in. If you're a handyman, with this toolkit, you can do a lot of things really. Okay? So the questions that you see in the handouts, you should ask yourself, what's the elasticity value? Oh, speaking of elasticity, okay. Structure is here. Let me just highlight some rules. Okay? You would expect the preamble to help with this, not this. Okay? So based on the preamble, they will tell you a story. That story will tell you what are the demand factors and supply factors. The preamble is not going to tell you, oh, this good is addictive. This good is a small proportion of income. Why? Here, you have to infer based on nature of the good. And most of the time, you can. If I just tell you rice, wheat, cars, cigarettes, in your mind, you will roughly have an elasticity value. Okay? So this is the first rule. Second, under change in demand, if preamble mentions a change in income, or if they have two goods, well, there's a very high chance these things need to be featured. When I say need to be featured, please give them definition, interpretation. Interpretation means what is the sign here, what is the magnitude. Okay? Third rule, if it's a 15-25 mark question, right? If it's just centered on one market, two markets, even three markets. Okay, approach A, B, C, 3, 3, 2. If it's two markets, you can just bring in this 2 times, one for each market. If you can do A, B, C, 3, 3, 2 for the first market, then C for the second market, that's okay also. Okay. Then this one is very clear. 3. Okay. I would even say I've seen so many questions where the third market doesn't have a combined shift, it's just one shift. That's okay. Okay. Can? And if question or the preamble does not specify all the markets, consider some examples. If they ask you what is the impact on market A, like oil, and related markets. Okay. So if they ask me what's the impact on market A and related markets, under related markets, I will bring in either substitutes or complements. If not, I'll bring in another market which I call a downstream market. If your notes don't bring in this term, then you just explain it. Downstream market means it uses A as a factor of production. Alright. Biofuel. I struggle to find a complement to crude oil. So here, downstream, air travel. Can you follow? Okay. So in this case, it's not totally silent, but it's more of which ones do you pick? At least they gave you the first market. They can't say on a market and related markets, no such thing, okay? if the preamble is completely silent, right, but mentions a change in income, like discuss effect, okay, of a recession and GST on different markets. How? They don't give you any market to start with. What do you do? Okay. If that's the case, launch into these three markets. YED less than 0, YED more than 1, YED between 0 and 1. Okay. I can even give you the markets, but like I said at the start of the lesson, conviction. Okay, you have to actually trust that these are proven to be okay, safe for use. Okay. Here you can talk about hawker food. Some of you may say, hey, it's not really inferior good. Well, that's why you put it side by side with restaurant food. Okay, and I think it should be quite clear. Necessity, medicine. Okay. If the preamble gives you the markets, use those in the preamble, okay? These are cases where the preamble is silent on markets. Okay. The next scenario, what if the preamble is silent on the factors? How? If the preamble is silent on the factors, how do you even get started? I'll say it tends to be for impact specified questions. Try to do everything for you. You have to do out some plans yourself. Okay. And oh yeah, I think let's just make sure we are okay with this. When you're explaining which curve changes more, I gave you 3 criteria before. To explain whether demand or supply changes more, right? You can look for reinforcing factors. Like, if it happens to be the case where you have 2 demand factors, all causing demand to rise, the overall change should be quite big. Or conflicting factors. Make sense? Dampening effect, reinforcing effect. Last one, latch on to YED. If it's bigger than 1, if income went up. Okay. So, I think at this point we should really avoid making mistakes like confusing a change in demand and a change in quantity demanded. Okay? When you write, then you know. Okay? Try not to write more, because when you write more, the likelihood of the error also goes up. Just keep it to ABC 332. Then it's very confined. Okay? I probably called this a jail cell before, right? 3 by 3 by 2 meter jail cell. Put yourself in the jail cell and you'll do better. Okay? 2 final points. Okay? Final points. Okay? If everyone goes in with ABC 332, will everyone walk out with level 3? No. The level 3 criterion is really, right, context. Answers that are more contextual will do better. Okay? And there are 5 areas for you to within context. Where are the 5 areas? Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 circled areas represent areas where you can put context. Okay? So, why? Okay? Or how do you put context? Context is just 1 to 2 lines of writing after explaining each of the 5 areas. Remember I say the marking scheme accepts or considers context as well. Like if you say higher income is higher demand for restaurant food because restaurant food is a luxury good, add 1 to 2 more lines. Like you say, oh, because they are usually served in better dining conditions, air conditioned, alright, quality of the service is better. So consequently, they are regarded as of better quality. You see, you really go into the nature of the good. Okay? Can? So level 3 criteria is really a case where effort counts. I kept emphasizing this because I don't want this to feel like a very high barrier to entry. Yeah? Okay? Effort counts. Okay, the moment you have 1 or 2 lines specific to that market, it's good enough. You don't need to really dine at restaurants every day to know, that there's aircon. Okay, so just keep it to 1 to 2 lines. Okay. Finally, evaluation. Okay, for evaluation, you can suggest what is the most significant factor, what is the most significant impact in terms of P, Q, revenue. Look at your diagram. If let's say demand and supply both cause the output to increase, then the most significant impact is output. Okay? If demand up, supply up, you can't say most significant effect is the change in price, right? Or market affected. Which is the most significant market, okay? In terms of markets affected, for multiple markets, try to highlight which one is most significant. Okay, first one. Second, you can even say in the long run, how would the analysis change? Especially the which curve changes more part. Under ABC 332 C2. If you say that demand changes more than supply, maybe you could say in the long run, supply would change more than demand. Try and explain why. Okay. Or you can say in the long run, generally PED should increase. Okay. Time period affects elasticity. PES also can also. Then the last one is challenge, ceteris paribus. Give an example of what else could be changing, then the implications, but no diagrams, okay? And that is how you should handle demand and supply questions for your promos. Okay, so we've completed 1/3 of the revision work. On your part is looking at all the summaries I've given you here today and checking what kind of gaps you need to plug. Okay. So like I said at the start, if there's conviction, it makes my job easier, it makes your job easier also. Examiner's job easier also. Then everyone will be happy. Win, win, win. Okay. Can? Alright.